Ladies and gentlemen, growth is not an accident. It is a choice, a commitment, a way of life. Everyone wants to grow, to evolve, to become more than who they were yesterday, but few are willing to live by the rules that demand that growth. Today, I want to share with you 10 essential rules, not just to dream big, but to live big, to grow into the fullest version of yourself. Growth begins with knowledge, and knowledge begins with the humble realization that you don't know everything. No matter how skilled, intelligent, or experienced you become, there is always another level. There's always more to discover. Life is a vast ocean of lessons, and those who commit to continuous learning are the ones who rise above mediocrity. Learning doesn't stop after school or college. It's a lifelong pursuit. The world is constantly changing. New technologies emerge, cultures evolve, industries shift, and if you don't evolve with it, you fall behind. Those who stop learning become outdated in both their thinking and their ability to lead or adapt. But here's the thing. Learning isn't just about reading textbooks or earning degrees. It's about being curious. It's about asking questions, challenging your assumptions, and diving deep into the why and how of things. It's about picking up a book that stretches your thinking, listening to a podcast that opens your mind, or simply having conversations with people who live differently from you. Real learners don't fear ignorance, they confront it. They admit when they don't know something and then go find the answer. They take online courses, attend workshops, and explore subjects outside their comfort zone. They aren't afraid to be beginners. In fact, they welcome the feeling of not knowing because it means they're about to grow. And don't forget, some of the most profound learning happens not in classrooms, but in real life experiences. When you fail, reflect on it. When you face a challenge, study it. When you meet someone different from you, listen deeply. Every single day, life is teaching you something, but you have to be awake enough to notice. The most successful people in the world, from CEO to athletes to artists, have one thing in common. They never stopped learning. They read daily. They reflect constantly. They seek mentorship. They stay teachable. Because they understand that learning is not a phase, it's a mindset. So if you truly want to grow in life, make it your mission to learn something new every single day. Learn from books, from mistakes, from people, from failure, from silence, from success. Let curiosity guide you, let knowledge shape you, and let learning fuel the person you are becoming. If you truly want to grow, you have to make peace with discomfort. In fact, not just peace. You need to pursue it. Because nothing meaningful, nothing extraordinary, nothing transformative happens inside the cozy walls of your comfort zone. That zone that's safe, familiar, predictable, it's where your routines live. It's where your habits have hardened, but it's also where growth stops. The moment you get too comfortable, you stop pushing, you stop stretching, you stop becoming. Think about every major breakthrough in your life. The first time you gave a speech, the first time you asked for what you deserved, the first time you said no, the first time you showed up afraid but still moved forward. Those moments weren't easy. They were uncomfortable. But they changed you, they stretched you. That's the proof. Discomfort is the birthplace of growth. Discomfort means you're doing something new. It means you're challenging old beliefs. It means you're facing fear rather than running from it. And growth requires all of that. Now, let's be clear. Discomfort is not suffering for the sake of suffering. It's not recklessness. It's about intentional challenge. It's putting yourself in situations that test you, that reveal your weaknesses, that show you where you can improve. Want to grow your confidence? You'll have to speak up even when your voice shakes. Want to grow your skills? You'll have to take on roles or tasks you've never done before. Want to grow your business? You'll have to take risks, face criticism, and make uncomfortable decisions. Want to grow your character? You'll have to be honest about your flaws, face your shadows, and own your growth. The people who grow the most aren't the ones who avoid hard things. They're the ones who walk toward them. They don't wait for courage to arrive. They take the first step scared. They fail, learn, and try again. They know that discomfort isn't the enemy, it's the compass. It tells you where you need to go. So if it scares you, excites you, or stretches you, it's probably exactly what you need to do. Train your mind to say, this feels hard, so this is probably where I grow. Make discomfort a part of your daily life. Take the cold shower, start the awkward conversation, raise your hand, apply for the opportunity you don't feel ready for, because over time discomfort becomes strength. What once scared you becomes second nature. What once felt impossible becomes your new normal, and that's growth in action. If you want to grow in life, truly, deeply grow, then you must stop pointing fingers and start holding mirrors. This is one of the most uncomfortable truths in personal development. You are responsible for your life. Not your parents, not society, not your circumstances, not your past. You, now. That doesn't mean you caused everything that's happened to you. We all face challenges, some unfair, some painful, some entirely out of our control. But taking responsibility isn't about blame, it's about power. It means accepting that while you may not be at fault for everything that's happened, you are responsible for how you respond, how you heal, and how you move forward. There's nothing more liberating and nothing more confronting than taking full ownership of your life. It means you stop waiting for someone else to fix it. You stop hoping life will hand you a better card. You stop saying, I can't, and start asking, how can I? It's a shift from victimhood to authorship, from helplessness to leadership. When you take responsibility, you realize that your future is not being written for you. It's being written by you every single day. By your choices, your actions, your attitude, your effort, and that's where growth begins. In the decision to own everything, especially the things that feel too easy to blame on someone or something else. Taking responsibility looks like this. If you're not where you want to be, you ask, what am I not doing? If you're stuck in the same place, you ask, what am I choosing that keeps me here? If your relationships keep falling apart, you ask, what am I bringing or failing to bring to the table? If your dreams feel distant, you ask, where am I not showing up with full intention? This is not about shame, it's about awareness. You cannot change what you don't own. You can't grow if you're always pointing outward. Growth demands reflection, it demands accountability, and it demands a mindset that says, even if I didn't create this mess, I'm the one who's going to clean it up. And here's the secret. When you start living this way, everything changes. You stop waiting for motivation and start creating momentum. You stop complaining and start building. You stop feeling powerless and start realizing you've had the power all along. Personal responsibility is not a burden. It's the doorway to your next level. When you live from this place, growth is no longer optional. It becomes inevitable because you're no longer at the mercy of life. You're in command of your direction. If you want to grow in life, take a long, honest look at the people you spend the most time with, because whether you realize it or not, they are shaping your mindset, your motivation, and your momentum. You do not grow alone, you grow in environments, you grow in energy, you grow through influence, and if your circle is filled with people who are stagnant, negative, or playing small, you'll find yourself doing the same, no matter how driven you think you are. There's a powerful truth that most people ignore. Your environment will either feed your fire or suffocate it. You can have big dreams, high ambition, and amazing potential, but if you're constantly surrounded by people who doubt you, who mock growth, who avoid change, or who fear discomfort, you'll constantly feel like you're swimming upstream. On the other hand, when you surround yourself with people who are also committed to growth, everything shifts. These are the people who challenge your thinking, not just validate your excuses. They push you to do better, not because they judge you, but because they believe in you. They talk ideas, not gossip. They celebrate your wins and hold you accountable when you slip. They don't let you settle for average, because they refuse to live there themselves. Growth-minded people think differently. They ask questions that make you reflect. They invest in themselves and expect the same from those around them. They're not threatened by your success. They're inspired by it. In fact, they want to rise with you. And when you're in a space where everyone is focused on becoming their best selves, it becomes impossible to stay the same. So ask yourself, who do I talk to the most each day? Do they lift me up or weigh me down? Do they challenge me or coddle my comfort zone? Are they living the kind of life I want to live, or the kind I want to outgrow? This is not about arrogance or cutting people off for no reason. It's about protecting your energy, guarding your vision, and being intentional with your influences. Because the people you allow closest to you are either fueling your evolution or delaying it. Sometimes growth requires loneliness before alignment. You might have to walk alone for a while as you elevate. You might have to distance yourself from familiar faces who are too attached to the older version of you, but that's okay, because eventually you'll find your tribe, people who speak your language, who match your hunger, who reflect the version of you you're trying to become. So build your circle with intention, seek out mentors, join communities that challenge you, engage with people who think bigger, dream louder, and act bolder. Because when you change your circle, you don't just change your conversations, you change your life. Growth doesn't happen by chance, it happens by choice, and that choice must be backed by clear intention. If you're serious about growing in life, you can't afford to drift. You can't afford to live on autopilot, reacting to whatever comes your way. You need a target, a vision, a mission. You need goals. Goals are not just something you write on paper once a year. They are the roadmap to your future. Without them, even the most talented person ends up lost, stuck, or chasing the wrong things. When you don't have goals, you confuse activity with progress. You stay busy but go nowhere. But when you set clear, specific, and meaningful goals, your life gains direction. Your energy becomes focused. Your choices become purposeful. Every morning you wake up knowing what you're working toward. That kind of clarity gives you power. It sharpens your decisions. It fuels your discipline. It makes you resilient, because even when the journey gets hard, you remember why you started. And clarity is key. Vague goals like "I want to be successful" or "I want to be better" won't get you far. What does success look like to you? What does better mean? Be precise, set timelines, define milestones. Break your big goals into smaller, actionable steps you can follow daily. Turn someday into today, but goal setting is only half the equation. The other half is relentless pursuit. You have to chase your goals with urgency, with discipline, with consistency, even when motivation is gone. Because here's a secret, your goals don't care how you feel, they respond only to action, they are moved by effort, progress is earned, not wished for, and that relentless pursuit, it will test you, it will force you to stretch. There will be days when quitting feels easier than continuing, days when the results don't match the effort, but if the goal matters, really matters, you won't back down, you'll rest, but you won't stop. You'll adapt, but you won't abandon, you'll keep going. Not because it's easy, but because your future is worth fighting for. One more thing, your goals should align with your values, not just your ego. Don't chase goals just because they impress others. Chase goals that ignite you, that speak to your purpose, that push you to become the person you were created to be. That's where lasting fulfillment and real growth comes from. So set goals that scare you a little and excite you a lot. Write them down, speak them out loud, track your progress, and most importantly, don't just dream them, live them. If growth had a heartbeat, it would be named discipline. Not talent, not passion, not even motivation. Discipline is the quiet engine that drives all progress. It's the bridge between the life you dream about and the life you actually live. If you want to grow in life, truly grow, then you must learn to do what needs to be done, especially when you don't feel like doing it. Discipline is showing up every day, not just when it's convenient. It's choosing your future over your feelings. It's doing the reps at the gym when your body says no. It's reading the book instead of scrolling endlessly. It's working on your craft while others binge entertainment. It's waking up early, staying focused, staying hungry, not because it's fun, but because it's necessary. We live in a world that glorifies comfort and chases ease, but growth doesn't live there. Growth lives in repetition. In structure, in the quiet, unglamorous grind that most people avoid. The people who rise, who lead, who transform, who achieve aren't always the most gifted. They're the most consistent. They win not because they always feel like it, but because they've trained themselves to show up regardless. Discipline is your daily declaration that your goals matter more than your excuses, that your time is too precious to waste, that your identity is bigger than your circumstances. And the truth is, it's not about huge leaps every day, it's about the tiny, repeated actions that compound over time. One focused hour today may not seem like much, but stacked daily it changes your life. You see, discipline is what builds trust in yourself. When you keep promises to yourself, no matter how small, you begin to believe in your own power. Your self-worth goes up, your confidence grows. You start thinking, if I can do this, I can do more. That momentum, that's growth in motion. But here's what most people miss. Discipline is not about punishment, it's about freedom. When you're disciplined, you don't live at the mercy of chaos or distraction. You're in control of your time, your habits, your destiny. You don't just react. You create, you build a life, not just survive one. And yes, you will have off days, we all do, but discipline means you get back on track quickly. You don't let one bad day become a bad week. You don't negotiate with your standards. You realign, you reset. And you keep moving forward. So if you want to grow, make discipline your lifestyle, not your last resort. Build routines that align with your vision. Schedule your priorities. Do the hard things first. Repeat the basics relentlessly, because in the end, success doesn't respond to how you feel, it responds to what you do consistently. If there is one universal truth about growth, it is this: you will fail. Not once, not twice, many times. And that's not a sign that you're weak. It's a sign that you're trying. It's a sign that you're moving. It's the clearest proof that you are stepping into territory others fear to touch. Failure isn't the opposite of success. It's the path to it. Every person who has achieved greatness has left behind a trail of broken attempts, missteps, and stumbles. What separates those who grow from those who stay stuck is not the presence or absence of failure. It's how they respond to it. Most people fear failure because they believe it defines them. They think failing means they're not good enough, smart enough, talented enough. But the truth is, failure doesn't define you, it refines you. It reveals what needs to be strengthened. It exposes blind spots. It humbles the ego. It teaches lessons no success ever could. When you fail, don't hide, don't retreat. Lean in, study it, ask yourself, what did I miss? What can I do differently next time? What part of me needs to grow so this doesn't happen again? That's where the power is, not in avoiding failure, but in extracting the wisdom it contains. And here's the thing, when you're growing, failure becomes part of your rhythm. It becomes normal. It becomes a signal that you're pushing the boundaries of your comfort zone. You will try new things and not get it right the first time. You will put your heart into something and see it fall apart. You will face rejection, disappointment, setbacks. But if you stay focused, stay humble, and stay learning, you will rise stronger than before. What matters is not whether you fail, but whether you learn, adapt, and keep going. Every setback is feedback. It's the universe giving you information. It's life refining your character, sharpening your strategy, and toughening your spirit. And let's be real, playing it safe won't protect you from failure. It only guarantees a different kind, the slow failure of regret, the failure of potential wasted, of dreams left unexplored, of never knowing who you could have become if you had been willing to risk failing. So change the way you see failure, welcome it as a teacher, get curious about it, let it humble you, not humiliate you, let it motivate you, not paralyze you, because when you become someone who learns from failure, you become unstoppable. You become resilient, you become wiser, you evolve. Every great chapter in your story will be preceded by a moment that tried to break you, but instead built you. If you want to grow in life, one of the most important shifts you must make is understanding that time is not just something you spend. It's something you invest, and like any investment, what you do with it determines your return. Your time is your life. How you use it decides what your life becomes. The harsh reality is this: most people don't grow because they give their time away too easily. To distractions, to drama, to people who drain them, to activities that do nothing to move them forward. Days become weeks, weeks become months, and suddenly they're asking, where did all the time go? But growth-minded people live differently. They guard their time like a fortress. They know that every minute has weight. Every hour carries a cost. Every yes to one thing is a no to something else. And if you say yes too often to what doesn't matter, you end up saying no to your dreams, your vision, and your progress. So the first step is awareness. Take a real look at how you're spending your time, audit your day, how much of it goes to scrolling aimlessly, to conversations that go nowhere, to overthinking, to saying yes, just to please others, even when it costs you your own priorities. Time is not just about productivity. It's about purpose. Are your hours aligning with the person you want to become? Are you spending your time in a way that reflects your values, your goals, your growth? You see, protecting your time doesn't mean you live like a robot. It means you live intentionally. You schedule what matters. You eliminate what doesn't. You build routines that support your future, not just your feelings. You learn to say no without guilt because you've already said yes to something greater. Growth requires space to think, to create, to plan, to rest, to execute, and that space is created by managing your time with wisdom. Your mornings become sacred, your evenings become reflective, your work time becomes focused, your free time becomes rejuvenating. You stop being busy and start being effective, and here's the truth. When you value your time, the world starts valuing it too. People will respect your boundaries more. Opportunities will come with more clarity. Your energy will multiply, because now you're living by design, not by default. Every person gets the same 24 hours. But not everyone uses them the same. Some build legacies, others build excuses. The difference isn't ability, it's awareness, it's intention. It's the daily decision to treat your time like the precious, non-renewable resource it is. So if you're serious about growth, you can't afford to let time slip away. You must take control of it, structure it, defend it, because what you do with your hours is what you do with your life. Growth is not just about grinding harder, thinking bigger, or setting goals. It's also about building a strong foundation that can support the weight of everything you're striving to become. And that foundation is you, your body, your mind, your energy, your well-being. If you neglect yourself, nothing you build will last. You cannot grow into your full potential if your body is breaking down and your mind is burning out. You cannot create, lead, or evolve if you're always exhausted, anxious, reactive, or out of balance. That's why this rule is non-negotiable. Take care of your body and your mind because they are the vessels through which your growth flows. Start with your body, not for vanity, but for vitality. A strong body fuels a strong life. It gives you the energy to pursue your vision. It supports your discipline. It builds resilience. Move daily, not just to look good, but to feel alive. Your muscles don't just carry your weight. They carry your confidence. When you push your body, you sharpen your mind. Nutrition matters, sleep matters, hydration matters. You can't expect your brain to perform miracles when you feed your body garbage. You can't expect clarity when you're always fatigued. You can't expect consistency when your system is constantly stressed. If you treat your body like a machine, it will break. If you treat it like a temple, it will elevate everything you do. But physical health is only half the battle. The other half is your mental and emotional well-being. Growth requires mental clarity, emotional control, and inner strength. If your mind is cluttered, reactive, or stuck in self, self-doubt, even the best plans will fall apart. You have to take responsibility for your inner world. This means protecting your mental space. Learn to unplug, meditate, reflect, journal, talk it out. Seek therapy if needed. Don't suppress your emotions, understand them. Don't run from your anxiety, face it. Mental health is not a luxury, it's a necessity. You can't grow while ignoring your wounds. Healing is a part of progress, and don't forget about emotional fitness. Your ability to handle criticism, manage rejection, stay calm under pressure. That's what separates temporary success from long-term greatness. Growth is hard, you will be challenged, you will be triggered. If you don't learn to master your emotions will master your life. So build habits that strengthen you on every level. Start your mornings with intention. Wind down your nights with peace. Fuel your body, guard your focus, reboot your mind, nurture your spirit, because the stronger you are on the inside, the more unstoppable you become on the outside. Your mind and body are not side characters in your story of growth. They are the main stage, and if you want to reach new levels, you must upgrade the machine that's carrying you there. If growth had a final rule, a golden principle that keeps you climbing while staying grounded, it would be this: stay humble, stay hungry. One without the other will sabotage your journey. Together they create unstoppable momentum that keeps you rising. No matter how high you go, let's talk about humility first. Growth requires the courage to admit that you don't have it all figured out. It takes strength to say, I still have work to do. The moment you believe you've arrived, you stop looking forward, you stop listening, you stop evolving. Pride becomes a ceiling. Humility keeps you open to learning, to feedback, to change. It reminds you that no matter how much you know, there's always more to discover. No matter how far you've come, there's someone ahead of you. And no matter how successful you become, you're still a student of life. Humility is not weakness, it's wisdom. It keeps your ego in check. It keeps your relationships healthy. It keeps your vision clear. You don't need to boast when your results speak for you. You don't need to compare when you're focused on your own lane. Humble people don't need to prove, they just improve, but humility alone isn't enough. You also need hunger, a relentless, burning desire to grow beyond your current state. A hunger that refuses to settle, that keeps you uncomfortable, that drives you to push the limits of what's possible. Hunger says, I'm proud of how far I've come, but I know I can still be better. It fuels the extra reps, the late nights, the early mornings. It's the voice that whispers you're capable of more. Hunger is the difference between good and great. It's what gets you through the dry seasons when motivation fades. It's what helps you rise after failure and go again. Without hunger, even the most talented individual becomes stagnant. Comfort becomes a trap. Achievement becomes an endpoint. But with hunger, you become a lifelong builder, constantly growing, constantly evolving, never satisfied with average. Now, the real magic happens when humility and hunger work together. Humility keeps you grounded so you don't get arrogant. Hunger keeps you driven so you don't get complacent. One keeps you learning, the other keeps you moving. One protects your character, the other fuels your ambition. This mindset changes the way you approach everything. You stop competing with others and start competing with your past self. You stop chasing validation and start chasing growth. You stop pretending to know everything and start asking better questions. You stop settling for what's easy and start striving for what's necessary. No matter how much you achieve, there's always another level, a deeper version of yourself to unlock, a new skill to develop, a better way to serve, a higher purpose to fulfill. Staying humble and staying hungry ensures that your journey never ends. It just keeps expanding.